Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, DisBearity here. Now, I know once again I am late to the party when it comes to the Total War news, but I'm here, I'm back. I got things to do, so keep that in mind. Anywho, though, so we're back here with some Ogre Kingdoms updates, or, with Golgfag here. Now, keep this in mind. I have yet to play the Ogre Kingdoms in single player, in the campaign. Played them many times in multiplayer. The single player, I have not played them because they just never seemed interesting to me. Now, my friends, they kind of liked them at first, because Total Warhammer 3 is a the new toy, but now, later on they're like, yeah, this honestly. So, and I've always felt like that they needed a rework because, just looking at their mechanics, how things are, yeah, and I think, people seem to agree. So we're here with this with the update here we're gonna go ahead and get right on to it. So we have a new legendary lord here, which is Golgfag Maneater, the mercenary. We can take a look of his model here. Look, the model looks freaking amazing. I love it. This actually might, make it interesting for me to get to the ogre games, honestly. So, more tales are told about Golgfag Maneater than any other ogre alive. He spends his great many of them himself. Yet there is, oh god, I'm like butchering my words now. There is much truth in the legend. He is undoubtedly one of the most successful ogre mercenaries of all time, establishing their dreaded reputation as lethal hired fighters and well before they became familiar presence in the forces worldwide. Okay, so Golgfag's playstyle is this: a fearsome reputation. This Golgfag isn't forged through the showing of mercy and on the battlefield. He ensures that any fool who stand in his way regret it. A proficient anti-infantry killer, he cuts through his foes like a sharp knife through stale old world butter. Okay, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. But can also call upon some deadly abilities. So one of his abilities is an active ability called Deadeye. Golgfag whips out his trusty pistol, allowing him to fire a powerful shot that deals significant range and armor-piercing damage. Perfect for taking out elite single entity targets. So that makes sense. So if you're going against like a leader or a hero or something like that, you want to take that perfect shot if you can. Boom, go for it. Been there, done that. Which is a passive area of hexes. Golgfag has such a damning reputation that he debuffs enemy units within his vicinity that causes terror, decreasing their melee defense, melee attack, base weapon damage, and armor-piercing melee damage. And then he has Bugment, triple, quadruple X, or was that 5Xs, whatever, Penta Xs? I don't know, you tell me. Active regeneration. With an insatiable appetite for ale, Golgfag takes a breather on the battlefield and enjoys a prompt strong brew, allowing him to recharge his hit points when he's out of combat and gain extra vigor. Alright, so let's go ahead and go a little bit downwards and see what else we're getting here today. So campaign mechanic, mercenary contracts, disclaimer with the following images in progress, as usual. So you can see here, you have active contract, available contracts to go for. In active, we'll see rewards, 3,600, so you get the rewards for it. Contribute points with following actions, battles, occupied settlements, raiding. Okay, that's actually really cool. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can break the contract. So I wonder if they're considered a horde faction, in that if you die, do you stay dead, like similar to Village, or no? That's what I'm wondering. Because it'll just be weird if you playing a mercenary faction, then you die off and you're out of the game forever. I mean, I don't know. And then let's see. So, correct, Kadrin. Contract canceled. Okay. As internationally renowned mercenary, Golgfag helps clients, factions throughout the Warhammer world settle their warring disputes by taking on all their wars. When a contract is signed, he must earn points by acting or by making acts of aggression against the enemy within the specific turn limit. After reaching his target, the contract is complete, granting a payout and rewards such as meat, mandated banner, culture unique items, and auxiliaries or ancillaries. Each contract will vary in rewards depending on the level of difficulty, which is determined by how many enemies the client has and their cumulative strength. In true mercenary style, the mechanic means that Golgfag playstyle will be much more sacking and raising settlements to gather meat, which will be essential to maintaining ogre camps, which we treat as the equivalent of major settlements. The end result is a campaign playable or playstyle which sits in contrast to those of Greases and Scrag, I bet with the same level of brutality, butchering and belching. So then we have another legendary hero, Bragg the Guts, legendary hero. Look at Bragg. He kind of reminds me of myself. Just white skinned. Sorry. I mean, I'm a big guy, but yeah. So Bragg is a notorious loner, feared and shunned even by his own kind. His gruesome killing style, particularly his brutal use of a bladed hook to disembowel foes, horrifies even the hardest of ogres. Okay, I like that idea about him. So his playstyle considers an executioner. Bragg's reputation as a prodigious killer earns him the executioner moniker when his foreboding execution ability is active, granting him the ability to instantly kill enemies. Large entity killer. His specialty is killing ogre. And killing ogres gives him this unit a bonus versus large entities. Okay. And then causes fear monster once the most sadistic of his kin. Bragg instills fear in his enemies. I like that. In Maneater culture, where the treasure and rewards are highly valued, the role of Paymaster is vital to their society. Joining his comrades in battle, the Paymaster drives them forward with promise of great riches. Known for greedy and tight-fisted, he's a true penny pincher. His survival instincts are sharp. He makes sure that the only of those who survive until the end of battle get paid. He also demanding and persuasive, constantly yelling at his fellow ogres to fight harder for the money. Motivated by the personal gain, he is happy to see others fail, as this means bigger share of the reward for himself. All right. So then we have I hope, is this the name Bruiser? I feel like, I don't know, they could have gave this hero a better name. I mean, I got to look at the table. I don't know if this is just, called Bruiser, but I feel like it's just so weird to have a character that's called Bruiser. It's a healer. Y'all kind of get what I'm saying? So the Ogre Bruiser often serves as he enforces their second in command within their tribal hierarchy, dedicating much of his time to crushing foes in the name of their tyrant. In return, his combat prowess and brute strength, he enjoys numerous privileges within the tribe. Chief among these is the freedom to beat any ogre who steps out of line, doesn't eat messily enough, or spends too much time with his nobblers. So, Blue Vulture's unit, I'm guessing this is the, I'm not going to read it, but I'm guessing that, let me see. Well, first I want to see, I guess this is a single entity unit, which is similar to the Phoenix and whatnot. So if that is the case, then I actually like that idea. Not too bad at all. Now the Thunder Tusk unit, we always knew this one was coming. So Thunder Tusks are ancient beasts that retreated to the icy peaks of the mountains of Morn. As warmed, imbued with the winds of magic, they became living embodiments of Winter's shield. Despite their immense size and ferocity, ambitious ogres tribes have managed to capture and tame them, utilizing their crushing string, freezing aura, and the ability to unleash blasts of magical ice. Once under ogre control, Thunder Tusks become powerful battlefield assets. Their basic bulk allows them to smash through even the toughest of infantry lines, while ogres mounted on their backs provide range support with oversized crossbows. Additionally, their ranged ice attacks serve as an effective debuff. So I wonder if they have a ranged ice attack, is that like a missile or whatnot? I mean, if it is, I mean, it's still cool no matter what. So the Yeti, Yetis. These savage beasts from the highest mountain peaks. These creatures often join their ogre allies in raids. They charge ahead of the ogre host, ambushing suspecting enemies with fierce claws, crude clubs, and icy chill. Seems like a Vanguard deployment kind of unit. Their unique connection to cold allows them to breathe freezing air into their weapons, transforming simple clubs into formidable tools of destruction. While this grants powerful frostbite attacks, it also makes them vulnerable to fire. Iron with dual weapons and strike. So yeah, they're going against Khorne. Oh, tough. Pigback Riders unit. Pigback Riders are quirky band of nobbler warriors who ride on top of the fellow nobblers. Despite their comical appearance, they carry shields that provide decent protection against missiles. So they're called what do you call the meat shields, basically. They play a crucial role in surfing the ogre battle line, serving as meat shield. Yeah, just following ogre units by placing nobbler on top of another. They effectively double the meat shield, making them even more difficult for enemies to dislodge. That's fucking funny, dude. So Golgfag Maneaters, the unit here. Golgfag Maneaters, also known as Golgfag's ogres, are why didn't this Golgfag's, ogre, I don't know, whatever, mercenary band from the harsh mountains of the ogre kingdoms, led by the infamous Golgfag Maneater. This group of mercenary Maneaters has fought in countless battles across many lands, driven by a hunger for wealth, glory, and food. Golgfag's loyalty is for sale to the highest bidder, serving warlords and generals from all nations without prejudice. Hey, I appreciate that, sir. I really do. All right, so Ogre Kingdoms or Ogre Legacy update. So again, they're reworking everybody. So meat. The following image is a work in progress. We noticed that the current meat resource was underutilized. Okay, it's read that right. I had to make sure. I was like, my eyes are like doing some weird things. Not as integral to the ogre identity as we would like it to be. To address this, we are increasing the amount of meat gained from all sources, allowing it to be used more frequently in various contexts. We also introduced a new feature called Hunger, which replaces the attrition armies with face when their meat supply reaches zero. So, I mean, I wouldn't call it new, but you kind of did the similar thing to escape, though. The more meat on the arm presses, the more abilities and mass it gains, effectively merging the old pre-battle meat purchased into the effects of the hunger bar. Meat can also be transferred between forces and camps for construction, spent on offers to the Great Maul, or hoarded to the Empower Army further. Okay. Offerings to the Great Maul. We felt that offerings to the Great Maul wasn't as interactive as we liked. Existing version required a small meat cost and presented a decision only once every 10 turns, which made it somewhat forgettable. Yeah. Now enabling an offering to the Great Maul provides a passive bonus that increases the force of the meat upkeep rather than a 10-turn effect. These effects can be toggled on and off with a cooldown, allowing multiple offerings to be active at once, letting players disable the offering if the meat upkeep becomes too difficult to sustain. Okay, I like this. I'm liking this a lot. All right, so this is the one that the biggest, like one of the biggest changes here, which is the ogre camps. We felt that the current ogre camps didn't fully capture the fantasy of wandering nomadic ogre tribes, and their playstyle was too similar to other factions with only the addition of a static camp. What's changing? Ogre camps can now move around the campaign map through the movement, though the movement is limited and incurs a meat cost. While it's encouraged to place camps strategically to minimize movement, they're no longer locked in one spot. Additionally, ogre camps no longer rely on horde growth. All buildings now require meat to construct, giving you flexible prioritizing buildings and reducing idle turns waiting growth. I still wish that they could definitely expand the map a little bit more big, more bigger, because I feel like we need to like the map is too squished. We need more, like it needs to take like 2 turns, to get from like outdoor to like Runeberg, maybe 2 or 3 turns, something like that. Make it, but that's going to require a whole like rework of the map, I believe so. Hey, as previously mentioned, meat can now be transferred to camps from armies. The intended gameplay flow encourages stacking and raiding with armies to gather meat, which they then send back to the ogre camp. Camps can now use the meat to construct and upgrade buildings, getting access to more powerful units, and then send upgraded armies to gather even more meat. I like that. So how does this change the ogre playstyle? We aim to shift players' focus towards stacking and raising rather than occupy settlements. To support this change, stacking and raising will now be the primary ways to gather meat, essentially for maintaining ogre camps, which we treat as the equivalent of major settlements. Settlements in ogre kingdoms are now considered based on strategic value rather than climate type, while some location-based servers key strongholds, others can function as disposable outposts, rather suited for sacking, raising, or gifting to a mercenary client, depending on the goals of the players. Okay. So ogre big names. So this is the technology tree here. We believe in the big names are in a good place overall. We have only made minor changes to how they operate. We have expanded on the feature used by all ogre lords and heroes, rather than just being usable by legendary lords, whilst also making it so that multiple can be active at once. Additionally, we have adjusted the balancing of each name's effect and how they are earned and needed. So it looks like they went ahead and changed the technology tree, as they should, make it more flexible, and I like the way how they're doing things. So army ability rework. Ogre Kingdoms now generate army ability points in a slightly different way. Previously, points were gained based on the number of enemies killed while routing. This felt overly niche and didn't offer much flexibility. Now Ogre Kingdoms gain a passive income of army ability points for every enemy and entity killed by charging unit, reinforcing their playstyle as heavy-hitting charge units. The Path of the Butcher. Scribe Slaughter, also known as the Prophet of the Great Maul, the Gore Harvester in the Maul that walks, is a character with powerful bond to the Great Maul. To reflect this in gameplay, we intend to introduce a feature that grants scaling bonuses based on the number of active offerings to the Maul. These bonuses reduces wins of magic costs, lower camp construction costs, and increases post-battle captives. With additional abilities unique to Scrag, this design encourages players to adopt a unique playstyle with Scrag, focusing on gathering large amounts of meat, keeping offerings active. This offers Scrag a very different playstyle to that of Golgfag and Greases, who focuses on the mercenary and respectively. And we have Tyrant's Demands. Okay, what is this here? Bribe. Oh, this is similar to Carl Friends' system as well. Okay, I like that. Hold on. Greases, Goldtooth, the Ogre Tyrant in the Kingdoms is renowned for his immense wealth and insatiable greed. Using his power to conquer all desires to capture his influence in gameplay, we introduce a unique feature that provides Greases with a loose, exclusive campaign actions suited to the Ogre Tyrant status. These actions provide powerful effects like blocking enemy army movement, disbanding units in the army unit. Oh, enemy army. Okay, that's cool. Ranking up his own units, replenishing action points, and dealing attrition, damage, and others. Unlike similar features that rely on pooled resources, Greece's actions only require treasury, reflecting on the wealth-driven approach. This feature encourages players to accumulate and spend vast amounts of gold, offering a distinct playstyle that solidifies Greece's as a valuable lord along Golgfag and Scrag. Okay, so I like that. I like this. Okay, so this actually gets me really somewhat excited to play the Ogre games. Like I said, I never played them originally because I always heard a lot of bad things or whatnot, and I when you play a faction, right, you just got to get that feeling, right? And it's like example with the High Elves, right? I played the High Elves in game 2 plenty of times, and then eventually I just kind of just quit playing them. I haven't tried the High Elves yet in game 3 yet. So I kind of get what I mean. It's like you got to get that feeling in order to play factions. I'm a big Corn guy. I love the Empire, of course, as well. So I love Cat Day. I love a lot of different factions, but you just had that feeling, and Ogre Kings just didn't have that feeling for me. So what we're gonna do now, guys, is that we're gonna go watch the video here up here, which is the what do you call it? Where we have the Golgfag gameplay showcase. So we'll be back in a sec. All right, now that we're here, I'm going to sit back, put on my headphones, and relax, and we're going to listen to this Golgfag gameplay showcase here to see what Golgfag has to do with Warhammer 3. Check it out.
To see is pre-alpha footage of Owen to Destruction. This was recorded months in advance, so there's still some placeholders in game. We're really hard at work right now and can't wait for you to get your hands on it at release.
All right, let's check it with this bell.
Loud, boastful, and in charge.
Golgfag Maneater's hungry, and he's on a mission.
Golgfag sets up his camps, takes on some contracts, beats up everyone in the area, heads off again.
Money, meat, and the open road. Life's
Okay.
good when the loot's flowing. What more could an ogre possibly need? Golgfag Maneater. Are you his friend? Or his food? If you've coin, you can placate him. At least for a time. Yes, if the price is right, Golgfag will fight for any cause. But there's one closest to his heart. His stomach. Forget fame, forget sprawling hosts and great nations. Golgfag hungers for bounties and meals of mammoth proportions.
Once again, CA can make some fantastic cinematics. That's one thing that I am proud of them for, honestly.
And lucky for us, we've stumbled upon a buffet. I don't know why Ostland and Nordland are fighting, but they've money and hate enough between them to keep us interested.
I mean, also in Northern, they always fight. It's like, yo, there are bigger pictures involved,
Move on.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
The Maneater trait. Increased income from post-battle loot and decreased upkeep for Maneater users.
Like, y'all got
makes
chaos in
Golgfag
the V.
a ravenous plague of an ogre. No surprise that he's the most successful and well-travelled of his kind. I'd expect no less from the official 100th legendary lord, despite what Andrew may have claimed in his showcase.
Oh, okay.
But even living legends fall on hard times. We've a crummy camp, forlorn funds, and a lamentable larder. Our lads are eager to build up their loot piles, and a rumbling belly is to an ogre what peace is to a greenskin. Just unacceptable. Best
Yeah.
at raiding. Raiding's a bit like reading if you're an illiterate ogre, so do browse our blog for a deeper dive into any of the mechanics, characters, and units introduced in this showcase. Now then, I'm Peckish. Roast bull, anyone?
Golgfag brings his loud, boastful personality into combat, and you'll quickly see this as he's tearing through enemy infantry, or just bogging down larger infantry such as
Golgfag
cavalry or
Maneater.
monsters. But one unique aspect he brings in for the ogres is the ability to take range shots or pop shots at enemy infantry.
Golgfag
Yes,
can
he's a
go
hybrid,
anywhere, work
considerably.
for anyone, and get involved in anything he wants to. The downside of
I mean, would he
that,
really
though,
be
is
considered
that
hybrid?
the more
I'll
time
have
he
to,
helps
like,
out other factions,
I should
the
look
less
up
time he is
that a little bit
building up his own
closer.
economy. Golgfag sets up his camp, sacks and raises to get all the meat and loot he can from the surrounding area, and maybe he finds a contract to work for someone. He'll go and take on their enemies, beat up them, and then he
Yes.
finds the next
Fuck up
contract somewhere
Festus.
We've
He
eaten,
ruins my Empire
blazed,
gameplays.
and sacked our way through bickering menfolk and exotically seasoned green things to find ourselves in Ostermark, a land ripe with war, which can only mean fresh contracts. Golgfag's contracts are a unique way to meet new people, see the world, and make a little bit of pocket money, but they shouldn't be confused
Oh.
with Ogre Kingdom's contracts, which have been renamed to bounties and have had their own tweaks. Golgfag's contracts are entirely different, giving Total War Warhammer its first proper mercenary faction.
Yeah.
Essentially, when we set up camp in a new region, the warring factions of
And
that
what's crazy that people are thinking and hoping that Dogs of War was going to be that, like, that mercenary faction. Hey, I still hope for Dogs of War and also Arabi to join, but sadness.
region are eager for us to turn the tide of their silly little squabbles. Yeah, I get it, Countbat. Face the Empire's real mean. You got gold, or are we just chin-wagging? Oh, now we're cooking. Alright, yeah, we're in.
Does an ogre eat undead? I'm really wondering that.
With the contract accepted, we've now a turn limit to fulfill the requirements and reap the rewards. To fulfill the contract, we must take aggressive actions against the target faction or factions to gain points towards an overall goal. Once that goal is met, the contract's fulfilled, and we can either stay employed to the client or take our loot and find new business elsewhere. Of course, once that contract's fulfilled, there's nothing preventing us from turning around and accepting a new one from the faction we previously terrorized. Yeah, get it, Mutton Chop. Vampires are real mean, but they're also quite lean from a meat perspective, so you're on your own, mate.
Wow, that's crazy.
Set up shop, fight for the locals, eat the locals, take their gold, and move on. That's the life for Golgfag.
That's wild and crazy.
Each contract takes us further and further afield, our camp forever trailing behind us. Wherever there is war, there are contracts. Some are tempting, but not always in the direction of our heart's desire. In this way, Golgfag edges ever closer to his mammoth meal. Northward then, into Kislev, or, as we like to call it, the Frozen Isle.
Contracts are really exciting. It's a completely new lens on the Warhammer world. Normally, you look at territory as, I need to go get this for myself. That's just my new expansion. But now you consider, there's a nice contract here. Do I actually work for someone else and give the land to them? Maybe double cross them later and give it to somebody else. And later again, maybe it should be yours after all.
Yeah.
The current army ability system for the ogres doesn't necessarily take into account what they're all about. They're these large creatures that's all about charging into combat and tenderizing any target that's in their way.
Okay, so they're not a
Through
single
the
entity.
rework, we're going to be
The
changing
vultures.
that, so
Okay.
Every unit that's charging
They're
on
a
the
group.
battlefield, the player will
Oh, so,
progressively
okay.
gain points to spend on their army abilities.
Ogres in Warhammer 3 are already a great race, but we felt that it was missing a little bit of the nomad fantasy that comes from the tabletop. So now we've made camps more important, allowing them to move, changing how they build. We've also made meat more important to emphasize sacking and raiding. So when ogres turn up to your territory, it's trouble and you need to get rid of them as soon as possible.
Great Orthodoxy, Ice Court, they taste the same, so what are they fighting about? Don't know, don't care. We're happy to brawl for all sides, so long as the gold and the meat keep flowing. And both are. The camp's growing thanks to our excess of meat, the lads' bellies are full, making them better fighters, and Golgfag's gained a bit of notoriety, earning himself a big name. Big names have altered requirements to gain, and are now more powerful than they used to be. You could say they're bigger than before. But
Yeah,
big
I
ogres
mean-
means big hunger, and meat will now play a more vital role in the ogre playstyle. We'll need meat to grow our camps, manage the effectiveness of our units in battle via the hunger gauge, and use it to decide how to interact more tactically with the Great Maw. Speaking of meat, Kislev's offering a decent buffet, but it's not quite the feast we were hoping for. Norska then. Let them tremble before our big names.
Currently, you can only have a single big name, which isn't really true to how the ogres are. Greasus has many. So now you can have all of the big names, but to make it a bit more balanced, we've made the conditions to get the big names a bit harder, and
yeah.
made the effects a bit more exciting to match.
Big names will
That
have a
makes
more
sense.
grander impact in battle through various buffs to statistics or just additional abilities that will help give you that edge in combat.
The offerings to the Maw right now are one-use abilities that happen every 10 turns, which we didn't think was very engaging. So now you can have multiple offerings to the Maw active at a time, but it just comes with a meat upkeep. So if you've got lots of meat on your armies, you can have all of them going at a single time, but it's
Okay.
gonna cost you.
Could it be? Doth my rumbling belly
Hey,
betray me?
get them.
Nay, 'tis it. The
So
promise.
another thing that you gotta think of is that you just don't go to, like, playing as these guys here. You just don't go to war just to go to war now. You got to think about how you want to do this. You know, what kind of contract you want to take. How much money are you going to get for this? Is going to be worth your time as a mercenary? Because you're playing as a mercenary faction now. Because, you know, from us traditional Total War players, you know, when we go to war, we just go to war, and that's about it. So
Meal.
that's pretty unique.
One last battle to fulfill Marienberg's contract, and a mammoth meal to sink our teeth into. First, though, let's change up our offerings to the Great Maw, making them battle-focused for the feast to come. This is it, boys. Ready your bellies, file your teeth, open your gobs, and let's get some meat.
Whoa!
Right, here's the plan. Kill the menfolk till they die dead, then eat them afterwards. Great plan, best plan. Yeah, they've got cavalry, giants, mammoths, skinwolves, and the wrath of the chaos gods behind them, but we've got pigback riders.
The Pigback Riders are a very unusual unit, but it's through that unusualness you'll find a bit of a surprise. They're very well equipped against cavalry units and just large units in general.
Oh, no, Wolfric, no. You're not getting away from us that easily. Meet
The
my good
Yetis.
friends, the Yetis.
Yetis are these mountainous, aggressive creatures that have an unusual ability to create ice weapons out of crude objects, such as clubs. They're also able to debuff units around them.
Debuffs are great, but this is just all a bit chaotic. Thank the Great Maw, we've got a bruiser keeping everyone in line.
I still don't like that they just called it
both acts
Bruiser
as
though.
an aggressive and supportive role for the
Give it a
Yoga
name,
Kingdoms.
something like
Where
that.
the tyrant's attention lays elsewhere, it's down
Like,
to the bruiser to make sure that
Bruiser.
everyone is fighting to the best of their capabilities.
Sometimes the bruiser's not enough. Sometimes you need Bragg the Gutsman.
Bragg is a Reaper and an Executioner both in name and from the gameplay perspective. He's a terrifying figure amongst the ogres due to his taboo way of killing them.
You know, this is shaping up to be quite the dinner party. All we're missing now is the Thunder Tusk.
Oh, that's cool.
The Thunder Tusk is this large, hulking creature that's able to manipulate the elements around it to create ice projectiles.
Victory so certain, Golgfag can already smell the barbecues and taste gold on his tongue. All that's left now is, wait, no, we didn't order fast food. Come on, Golgfag. A bit of cardio before dinner never killed anyone. Will Golgfag catch his meal? How far will his stomach take him? Or will you indulge his lust for loot and raid the world? Thoughts,
Or-
comments, recipes? Let us know in the comments below or follow our links to wishlist now.
All right, so my thoughts on this. So my final thoughts on this, y'all, is that I really do like the changes that they are making to the Ogre Kingdoms. It feels like it's giving them a fresh new take that a lot of players and gamers of Total War 3 kind of finally wanted, and this is possibly the right way to go about it. I kind of wish that in the future though, with with a lot of these showcases, that CA really works on like the definitive versions of their factions and whatnot, so they don't have to keep going back and forth in reworking their old the old factions and stuff like that. Because I know that it feels like it's going to be a continuance, revolving. So yeah, I hope that y'all get what I mean. Because whenever they come out with new factions, it's like, well, damn, now they got to update the older factions now to keep up with the new factions and the mechanics. And it's like I get there for the most part. Hopefully within the next DLC that comes out, I think the next one is a Slaneshi based one. They work on the Slanesh, Lizardmen, and High Elves. Something else like that, maybe. So, but honestly, when it comes to the Oak Kingdoms, I'm glad to see that they're that they're working out pretty great, and I can't wait to try them out for you guys. But so if you guys enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. Hit that notification bell down below to be notified on any other future video that I post. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. If you guys want to, consider becoming a Patreon or channel member. Peace out, much love, and have a good one, y'all.